Oh yes, oh yes, oh yeah. It's 7 p.m. on Wednesday, so you already know what it is, people. How y'all doing today? Once again, it's another beautiful day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. But I'm going to do something a little different tonight, just a little bit. I'm going to give it a minute to let this build. I'm telling you. You want to get your people on here. If you haven't shared this out already, if you haven't told all of your people about this, now is the time. Share this to them. Give it to them. You want them here. Trust me. Because I'm telling you, you know what? I ain't even going to get into it yet. Give me just a second. Okay. Like I said, I ain't even gonna get into it yet, but y'all already know. You know what? I'm gonna get into it in just a second. I don't think I've ever been this excited and this nervous. I don't usually get nervous, but well, I get a little bit nervous every time I, hit that live to go on. But I'm usually pretty cool. But for some reason, I'm a little more nervous tonight. It's all good though. But let's go and get into it. Y'all already know we got to mix it up. The flavor of the week this week, we got watermelon and lemonade tonight. Like I always say, if you hadn't cleansed yet, this is where you need to be. This is what you need to go to. This is what you need to try. Because I promise you, you're not going to find one better. But what it do? I'm finna go on and drop the theme music and give y'all extra time to share this out, because like I say, you want your people on here ASAP, because you already know what time it is. Let go.
Wake up in the morning, time to rise and shine. Hit the grind, ain't no way, I'm falling behind. Every dollar earned is a step to a line. Mr. Grind Time, watch how I redefine. Hustle hard, never looking back. This is where legends are made, that's a fact. This is Grind Time, live and reaching for the sky. Money's on the line, gotta hustle, can't lie. Living for the now while we aim to fly high. Together we'll rise, let our visions amplify. This is Grind Time, live and reaching for the sky. Money's on the line, gotta hustle, can't lie. Living for the now while we aim to fly high. Together we'll rise, let our visions amplify. Total life changes, gotta push through the pain. Health over wealth, but we still stacking gains. Motivation in my veins, driving me insane. Never satisfied, I forever remain. The clock's ticking, can't waste a beat. Every move I make, I'm feeling the heat. This is Grind Time, live and reaching for the sky. Money's on the line, gotta hustle, can't lie. Living for the now while we aim to fly high. Together we'll rise, let our visions amplify. So step to the climb, let's chase what we dream. This is Grind Time, building our team. This is Grind Time, live and reaching for the sky. Money's on the line, gotta hustle, can't lie.
I hope y'all can hear it that time. I've been trying to figure out the audio on it. And for some reason, Facebook be trying to block it out. But you know what? It's all gravy. How y'all like the new theme song on Grind Time Live? AI, baby. But like I say, continue to share this out. Continue to get your people on here. Because when I tell you, first off, this is an epic milestone episode. This is episode 20 of the hottest new podcast gracing your screen. This is Grind Time Live. Yep, and I've been doing this 20 weeks straight. every Wednesday, 7 p.m., I hit that button. Different people every week, different amazing stories. And this week will be no different. If I tell you, the man I have on here today has inspired me in so many ways that I bet you he don't know how many. I bet you he don't know how much. But I'm only one of at least 6-figure worth of people that he's inspired. That's who we're dealing with tonight. I mean, we talking from the Ford assembly line to the COO of a multi-million-dollar company. We talking someone who fought through cancer but never lost a step when it came to helping inspire others. I mean, if I can literally talk about this guy all night. I could. But if I do that, then it wouldn't be no need for me to have him on here. So I'm going to bring him on and let him tell you about some of his journey, some of what he's been through and how he got to where he is. He's adding now. Come on, Facebook. Don't do this to me today. There he is. If it's not other than the COO of TLC, the Italian stallion himself, Mr. John Licari. How
Gary,
you doing,
what's
sir?
up? Mr. Grind Time. Listen, man. Oh, you had me going. You had me on so many emotions just now. First of all, I mean, you're talking about this podcast this evening. And if you're just a casual observer that just stopped by for a minute, you would have no idea if we're talking to 25 people, 2,500 or 25,000.
Yes.
Like, that's what I love about you. Like, you just have this energy and this passion. You just show up, and that's not contingent on anybody else showing up. And so I just want to say thank you for that, because the world needs that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank you for all the nice
sir.
words about me. It always makes me a little emotional when I think about when someone tells me that I've made an impact in their life, because that's really what I want to do, is just make a difference, man. In whatever way. Maybe that's just helping someone smile, believe in themselves, lose some weight, make a little bit of money, find some new friends, man. Like, that's a big deal for me. And when I got emotional, I started crying, tearing up there for a second, was when you talked about the assembly plant. When I was on that assembly line, man, I just never felt fulfilled. I didn't feel like there was anything I could do. I couldn't wake up earlier, go to bed later, show up harder, work harder, have a better attitude. None of that stuff was going to help me make a difference in the world.
Yes, sir.
Might help me make a little bit of a difference there, but not in the world.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
now,
sir.
man, part of Total Life Changes is kind of cool. If I just show up and do my best every single day, my impact goes beyond Total Life Changes. And it goes into
Yes.
the world, right? And people send me messages all the time. They're like, hey, thank you for this and thank you for that. And you said this one day, or because of you, I decided to do this instead. And I never used to believe in myself, and now I do. And sometimes when I talk about it, or I hear other people talk, I'm like, are they really talking about me?
Yeah.
Because I'm this shy kid who failed speech class, right? Like, I'm this kid that didn't want to be seen, couldn't talk in a room with 3 people. Like, how did that happen to me? And so I'll tell you how it happened to me. TLC.
Yes. Yes.
TLC changed my life, man. Like, it really, really did. And so many people are thinking to themselves, oh yeah, well, of course it changed your life. You're COO, and you have this position and you've made some money. No, man. You don't understand.
This ain't how it started.
Yeah, this community changed my life. The proximity to this positive energy changed my life. The proximity, the constant proximity and influence from the people who are positive, who always had a positive perspective, who had goals and dreams and never shot anybody else's dreams down. Like, I didn't have proximity to that before TLC. Right?
Yes.
Once in a
Yes.
while, right? It's easier now, right? You go on YouTube and find something positive, right? You can go on, these podcasts and, like you're serving tonight, right? You can find that. Like, listen, man, in the year 2000, you couldn't, right? You went to a Tony Robbins, seminar once or twice a year. That was it, right? But man, that's the secret of network marketing right there.
And
Man, it's like having a Tony Robbins conference every single day. Right? You got Mr. Grind time. You got some people that are inspiring each other. You got people that are becoming better versions of themselves, right? Like I didn't mean to come on here and start talking about this right away, but like I think people are missing the point here. Like, listen, guys, like if you're part of TLC and you're coming across this now or later, listen, here's what your job is. Your job is to help people become better versions of themselves. That's it, man. We grow people. That's what we do.
definitely.
Now we gotta buy some time though. Gary,
Yeah.
we got to buy some time because here's what I know. My personal growth journey took several decades. Okay?
Mm.
But along the way, I felt great. I was able to focus, right? I lost some weight. I made a little bit of money, right? So if you're watching, you got to remember this. Bring them into our community. They're going to be exposed to everything that's going to change their life outside of what I just said. Their personal growth journey is going to begin. They're not even going to know it, but they're growing. They're becoming better versions of themselves. They're allowing the great version of themselves to come out, right?
Yes.
What's keeping them here? You. You got to keep them here. You've got to help them stay on their weight loss journey. You've got to help them stay on their fitness journey. You've got to help them get that first customer and get a couple of signups. Become part of the team. Get some success financially or at least in their health so they stay. Because if they stay long enough, their beliefs going to go up. Their positivity is going to go up. The level of dreams are going to go up. They're going to become a better version of themselves. And then they're going to look back 6 months ago and not even recognize themselves. And that, my friend, is what we do. And that's what I've seen in you. That's why I started by saying this tonight. You didn't ask me to say this. I have no idea what I'm here to do, by the way. Just so you guys know, right? But I wanted to say that because when I look at someone like Gary or AKA Mr. Grind Time, right? Like I met Gary a long time ago, right? And guess what I can tell you about Gary? He was smiling back then. He was awesome back then. He was nice back then. I was like, this is a nice guy, right? But now I look back at Gary and I'm like, wait a minute. I remember the first time I talked to this guy. It was at an event. Then I remember the second time I talked to this guy. It was over the phone on a Thursday night. And he was talking about driving a truck. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure if this guy's going to actually last, But now I look back at Gary, I'm like, man, he's got a podcast, he's got a team, he's got a bunch of customers, he's serving people all the time, he's engaging, he's showing up, he's inspiring other people. Like, man, that just don't happen because someone reads a book.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like that happens because you're around people that are doing the same thing. And when you set an example, man, that's leadership, right? And so like you've obviously been exposed to people that are great. Guess what? It makes you greater. That's
Exactly.
it, man. Like that's it right there. Like stop the conversation. Like if you want to be great, you have to be around great people all the time. Not once in a while, not on the weekend, not 2 times a year when you go to a sales conference or to an event. You have to be around them all the time. How do you be around them all the time like this? Like this, man. We're a community. Yes, business, weight loss, 15-day challenges, that's all part of this, right? But that's just in order to keep you engaged and keep you here so the real magic can happen. And the real magic is, man, becoming, like breaking out of that victimhood neighborhood that so many of us live in, right?
Yes.
Like we view ourselves as victims, right? Like there's no way I'm going to be successful, man. I'm shy. I'm short. The government, the weather, my best friend cursed me or whatever the heck we say to ourselves, right? And so guess what? Like if you view yourself as a victim, this, I talked about this yesterday. You're going to be one. But the moment you decide I'm not a victim, everything is possible, but it's up to me.
Yes.
Right? If I'm counting on other people, nope. But here's the cool thing. Man, be part of an environment like this. Man, your belief will skyrocket through the roof. So anyway, that's my opening monologue. Sorry about that. I got a little passionate there about that topic. But again, man, back to you, Gary. Like, I just really want to say thank you for your fight. I know things haven't always gone your way. I know the level of work you put in doesn't match the results you get sometimes. I know that, seriously. And I've maybe never even told you that privately, but I'm telling you that publicly in front of all these people now, right?
Sir.
But if you just keep your head down, man, and you just keep on going, there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. and you might not see it. And sometimes that light looks like a freight train coming at you, right? But no, man, like, just trust it, man. Just keep on going, do what's right, show up, engage, inspire other people. It's like one of my mentors, rest in peace, Zig Ziglar, says all the time, man, like, if you want, if you give people what they want, you'll get what you want.
You want.
Right?
Yep.
Everything you want, just give people whatever they're looking for, man. Sometimes they're just looking for someone to listen to them. Sometimes they're looking to have someone help lose their weight, help them lose weight, right? Make a couple of bucks, smile, right? You just keep on doing that stuff, man. Like, everything you're looking for will find its way back to you. I know that for sure. So, all right, now I'm ready to serve. Go for it.
All right. Now y'all see why. First off, I wanted this guy on here. Second off, why I am still a part of this amazing community 4 years later. Because, like, we did a homework assignment last week. My reasons for coming to this company are not the reasons why I'm still here 4 years later. When I came to this company, I knew nothing about personal development. I didn't know who Tony Robbins was.
Yep. Me too.
But since being around this community and these people, and it make you want to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, when you got somebody like Mr. Licari, who started off, like I say, didn't even want a part of this. And he got to tell that part of the story. He wanted none of this.
Nope.
He didn't want nothing to do with Total Life Changes even before it was Total Life Change. He didn't want nothing to do with that. I'm just gonna say this. Reason why I want him on here, because how many of us have had friends that have asked us or told us about an opportunity, asked us to try it out, asked us to just help them out in the business, and we've passed it over. Just imagine Mr. Licari would have considered to say no. But I want you to you gotta tell at least that part of the story, Mr. Licari.
Yeah, for sure I will. And so, let me start out by saying this first before I get into the story, because I think this is really, really important. Sometimes people, and this is my story, sometimes people are trying to get you involved in this community, in this business opportunity, in this product sharing opportunity. Sometimes they're trying to get you involved in it because they know something that you don't know. But they also know that you don't know what that thing even is. That's my story, man. Listen, my friend, the guy I met on the assembly line 30 years ago at Ford Motor Company, we're both young kids, just got hired, man. Like, here's what I can tell you, man. Like, he knew that if I was exposed to personal development, higher level thinking, and some positivity in my life on a consistent basis, he knew that it would absolutely change my life. Now, here's the problem. The problem is that's the angle he kept on working, right? So just think about that, and let me start my story. So we meet on this assembly line, right? 1994 in metropolitan Detroit, Michigan. We're at this auto factory. Everybody is telling us, man, you should be happy because you just hit the jackpot, man. You got the best job in the world. Good benefits, health care, man, good hourly wage. You're going to get a raise over the course of the next 3 months, 3 years, and you're going to be making buku bucks and overtime and Saturdays and all this stuff. And, and all you got to do is work here for 30 years, man. You'll never have to work again.
That was the American dream.
19-year-old kid, it kind of sounds okay. Like, oh, it makes sense, man. I'll retire. I'd be retired right now, by the way. Like, I would be retired right now if I was still there. Anyway, so you start working, and, some people are happy, and to be honest with you, for a long time, I was happy too, because I was convinced that I should be happy by the people around me. Those same people that told me not to do this, those same people that told me not to do this, quit this, stop doing this, stop dreaming. Those same people told me to stay there, do that. Man, this is the best place for you, right? But that was the best place for me, for them. It wasn't for me, right? Because they didn't understand what was going on here. They didn't understand, like, here I am building this seat and installing it in a car. Like, I'm never going to meet that person. That person don't even know who made this thing, man. As far as they know, I'm just an X on a schematic, right? Like, I'm not even a person in their mind, right? I'm just hey, man, I bought a car today. I'll never get to connect with that person, right? So anyway, I started in the assembly line, and so as the story goes, I was really, goal driven. since I was a young kid. To be honest with you, I think, I brought this up, and I don't usually bring this up, but even at that time, I was still a shy kid, man. As a 19-year-old kid, I was still very shy. And the way I dealt with shyness and self-esteem issues and self-confidence issues was I just worked. I just worked every minute of free time I had. I worked. I tried to make as much money as possible. I didn't waste any time. If I wasn't working on the weekends at Ford, I was working my side hustle, which was landscaping. I was cutting grass during the week, during the day, working at Ford at night, and on the weekends, if we didn't work at the factory, man, like I did as many side jobs as I could, right? I was always working, always working, always working. So that's my side hustle, right? So I'm telling Jack, I'm like, hey, Jack, I'm like, listen, bro, like if you want to make some extra money, like let me know, man, because I'm getting side jobs all the time, and sometimes like I can't keep up, and I got 2 people working, 3 people working for me, but like sometimes they're busy. I said, so you should come and do my side hustle with me, right? He's like, all right, I'll take that into consideration, but let me tell you a little bit about my side hustle. Okay, so he goes on to start telling me about his side hustle over the course of several months, and my initial thought was, wait a minute, is this one of those pyramid schemes? Because his side hustle was network marketing. Now, I didn't know what network marketing was. I didn't know how network marketing worked. But here's what I knew about network marketing. There was bad, evil people there. Because that's what I had been told.
That's
That's
what
what I
we
had
heard.
heard. That's what I had read, right? Network
Yep.
marketing was bad. Bad people. Stay away. They're going to steal your money. They're going to brainwash you, right? It's a cult.
Cool.
It's
Yeah.
a pyramid scheme, right? It's illegal. All this stuff, right? So guess what I told Jack? Everything I just said. I said, oh, that's the pyramid scheme thing. I ain't doing that. He said, oh, man, you got to try it. Right? So very early on in the conversation, this is a really important part of the story. Very early on in the conversation, he knew I didn't want anything to do with the business. He knew I didn't want anything to do with the products, which was services at that time that he was pitching. So he tried working a different angle for a really long time. He said, no, Johnny, you're misunderstanding. He said, I just want you to be part of this because, man, there's some great people and they've really taught me how to think differently. And, they're going to help you dream, man. And that's what he was trying to, that's the angle he was working with me. I'm a 19-year-old, stubborn, closed-minded kid, man, right? Wrong angle to work with me. Wrong angle, right? Because I was like, that's weird. That's strange. You're strange. Don't bring that up to me anymore. I ain't doing that. Get that out of your mind. I'm never doing that. Like just over and over. Read books. What? Book club? What do you mean? Like, yeah, just come over his house, man. You're gonna love it. No. No, 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 no. Okay? 5 years. Now, passion. Let's talk about it. You felt it at the beginning of this broadcast. I wasn't even on here yet. Gary's going for it. He's playing music, man. He's talking about TLC. He's talking about his podcast. He's talking about life passionately, right? So maybe you're just scrolling by and you're like, wait, who's this passionate dude talking? So what did you do? Physically, mentally, or both? You stopped, right? And maybe you scrolled, maybe you kept on scrolling. I don't know. But here's what I do know. At least you stopped for a second. This happened to me. Okay, 1999, 5 years after the bickering started. 5 years after the no started. 5 years after the wrong angle to try and recruit John Licari started. This conversation happened. Jack Fallon shows up. Hey, Johnny, I got a great idea. The world needs a liquid multivitamin. Did you know that our food source has changed and even oranges don't have vitamin C sometimes when they test them? Man, like the world needs vitamins and trace minerals. And I feel like a lot of people don't like capsules. A lot of people don't like tablets and they don't absorb in your body anyway. And the world doesn't really have a liquid multivitamin. And I'm going to create a liquid multivitamin and I'm going to sell it. Now, I'm giving you the bullet points, cliff notes here because this went on for about 5 minutes, right? But it was a very passionate rant at 5 a.m. Okay? So I'm telling you this, why? I don't care if you're passionate about cooking, knitting, your family, a new business that you're launching, or whatever. Here's what I can tell you for sure. If you speak about it with passion, people will stop and listen at least for a minute. Okay, write that down, think about that, reflect on that, and try to reflect on what you're doing if you're failing in your business or just in life in general. Are you passionate? And are you showing that passion? And by the way, if you're not passionate about it, maybe it's time to do something else. Because passion is a huge part of the recipe, my friends. Okay, now, when he was saying all this stuff, I'm gonna tell you what happened in my mind. For the first time in 5 years, I was actually listening instead of just hearing him. Big difference. Okay.
Yes.
Here I was an adversary for 5 years, not against network marketing, but just against Jack. He's a good friend. We went out once in a while on the weekends, like, and all that's cool. But like, other than that, man, like I was just an adversary against Jack in general. As a matter of fact, I didn't want him to succeed in network marketing because I was so dead set on being able to tell him, I told you so.
I told you so.
I was those people. I was one of these people. Okay. Now, I didn't become an advocate of Jack Fallon at that moment, but I was no longer an adversary. In that moment, I just said, like, hey, man, this is kind of cool. I kind of agree with this mission, this movement. Maybe the world does need this. Wow, man, there's no vitamin C in oranges. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really got me thinking, man. So I kind of sort of want him to succeed, especially when he told me, but, I'm just going to sell it. I'm just going to sell it, like just hand-to-hand selling, right? Like, I'm just going to sell it to my neighbors on the factory and all that stuff, right? Because that was one of my questions, And so I'm like, well, how are you going to afford it, though? Yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And that's an important part of the story, too. You don't always need to know all the details before you start. You don't always have to have everything figured out, everything planned out, every little T crossed and I dotted. No, you don't. Like, you don't have to be perfect to start, but you got to start to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget that, right? Because many, many people are waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect everything. And guess what? They're still waiting right now. It's been 20 years. Like, no, man, fail faster. Fail as fast as you can, because failure is what brings you to victory, right? So get out there and do it, man. If you're passionate about something, you got an idea, go do it. Yeah, you might fail miserably, but guess what? You're going to learn a lot of lessons, right? You're going to learn how to succeed the next time, right? So just keep on doing it. Now, so Jack makes a bunch of phone calls. Finally, somehow, grace of God, honestly, finds someone that is willing to make him this product right here on consignment. I don't even know if you guys understand what that means. I mean, I think you guys all know what consignment means, right? It's kind of like, all right, I'm going to give you this product. When you sell it, just give me what you owe me and you keep the rest. That's simple, right? The problem is we're talking about nutraceutical contract manufacturing. This does not happen here. Okay?
Yes.
Like, this is like, these are 10,000 bottle minimum order quantities. Like, you can't order anything less than that. That's how you get that pricing. And you're paying 50% up front, or if you have no established relationship with them, you're paying 100% up front. You better have some money, right? Or else they're just going to say no. Well, 1 out of the 40 people that he called said yes. I mean, and quite honestly, like, Jack will tell you this, the guy, and his name was Tom, he told me, he said, I don't even know why I'm doing this, and I don't know why I like you, but I do. And I'm going to give you a chance.
Your shot.
So I'm going to make 5,000 bottles of your dream, and I'm going to send it to you. And when every month, whatever you sell, so you just give me the money that you owe me. And so that's what he did. He was just sending them checks every month. First month, it was maybe only a couple $100, right? But I'll tell you what, second month, third month, fourth month, people started drinking this stuff, and people started drinking it again, right? So he's selling this stuff out of the trunk of his car. He's selling this stuff on the factory floor, bro. Right? And I'm right there next to him witnessing all of this, right? Sometimes I would cover him on the assembly line so he could run away real quick and deliver NutriBurst. Sometimes people would come up to us on the assembly line and try to buy NutriBurst, right? Now, here's where I knew Jack was in trouble. And I still wasn't convinced that I wanted to help him at all. But here's where I knew he was in trouble. People would come and they'd say, Jack, I need more of that vitamin, but I don't have any money. Can I pay you on Friday? So here's Jack, man. So for those of you who know Jack Fallon, this is not going to be a surprise to you. Yeah, it's fine. Just pay me Friday. Here. Take it. Don't worry about it. Just pay me Friday, right? So they would leave. They're happy. He's happy. He's whistling, doing his job. And so I'd look at him and I'm like, hey, Jack, I'm not really keeping track or nothing, but you see that lady over there? Like, she owes you $20 from last week. Right? She's like, you just told her she could pay you next week. She already owes you money. So now she owes you more. He's like, oh, yeah, she'll tell me, And I was like, are you sure? Because I kind of knew the lady. I was like, I don't think she was going to tell him, So, I was kind of like, oh, man, this guy's in trouble, man. But I was really inspired, man, because he was selling a lot of NutriBurst. He loved talking about it. People loved drinking it. and it inspired me to start drinking it, right? So I started drinking it, and I started liking it. And so now when I was covering him on the line and stuff, and I would be mad at him, he'd just give me a bottle of NutriBurst. So he would be like, "Oh, here you go." So that was kind of like his payment to me, right? To keep me kind of shut up. So anyway, he does that for a couple years. Now, by the way, a lot of people don't know this. He's still working another network marketing opportunity, a service-based opportunity, but selling his own product hand to hand. Okay? So one day, 2002, he walks into Ford Motor Company, and he says, "Johnny, I'm going to start my own company." I decided, he quit the company he was at. He said, I decided that, I want to start my own company, full-fledged network marketing. I want to do customer service, shipping. I want to, send out commission checks. I want to do meetings. I want to have, somewhere where people can log in and see their team and all of that stuff. And I was like, Jack, don't do this, man. Like seriously. But now I wasn't that immature kid that wanted him to fail so I could say I told you so. I genuinely cared for him, and I didn't want him to fail. I didn't want him to lose his house, right? I didn't want him to, his marriage to be affected. I knew he had a young child on the way, right? And I'm just like, don't do this, Jack, man. Please don't do this. Like, it's fine, man. Like, we'll just work some overtime. You can come work with me on the weekends if you want, make some extra money. He's like, no, man, it's not about the money. He's like, I love this. He's like, I love this, man. You're misunderstanding. Like, I'm not doing this for the money. And he said, I think it would be cool if you did it with me. And I said, no. I ain't doing it, right? And because I still didn't really understand, right? And I don't even know that he knew that I didn't understand, but I didn't understand what this could be, what the potential was, why it was such a great thing. So for the next 6 months, he starts on his own, and he was tired every day. He was staying up late, talking on the phone with people, shipping NutriBurst all across the country. And, I had a conversation with his wife at the time. We had either gone out to dinner or went to their house for dinner, one or the other. And she mentioned to me, she goes, I don't know how Jack does it. He's on the phone until midnight. He gets up at 4 a.m. to go to work. And I was like, there was something about me. I was like, man, like that sucks. That makes sense, man, because he had been tired, but he was trying to be positive, but you could tell he was tired, So anyway, but now here's where the story changes. Okay. Remember, Jack's trying to work an angle on me for 5 years, 9 years, any way you want to look at it. That angle wasn't going to work with me. The whole like, hey man, this is a positive environment. These people are going to, elevate you, and you're going to be exposed to people that are going to make you think differently and help you become a better version of yourself. And we read books together. That angle wasn't working with me. Okay. All right. Like some of you are like laughing right now, even though Gary's laughing, you're laughing too. Cause you're like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Cause like, I thought that stuff was like nonsense too. Right. Okay. It was nonsense to me. So the angle shifted, and it started with purpose, right? The purpose was Jack couldn't keep up with the shipments. And because he couldn't keep up with the shipments, or the phone calls, excuse me, it was affecting the shipments. So every time he stopped to ship product for a couple hours from like 3 to 5 p.m., he couldn't talk to people. Because he couldn't talk to people, back then, man, it wasn't like now. There was voicemail, right? Like,
Yeah.
he called people back and stuff. There's no text messaging and stuff like that. I mean, email, but that was new, right? So so he needed help. So now he comes back to me. Now here's where God's timing is always perfect. It's October 2002. Guess what happens to my side hustle in October? It starts to wind down.
Yeah.
We live in Detroit, man. Things stop growing here. Grass stops growing. Trees stop growing. Nothing needs to be trimmed. No one's looking to expand their patio, get shrubs planted. Nothing, right? So for like 5 months, like ain't no side hustle going on, right? Now I always look for odd jobs like construction and stuff like that, right? But he knew that side hustle, my main one, was going to be shut down, right? So he comes to me, Gary, one more time, brother. One more time he comes to me. Hey man, I really could use your help. He said, I can't keep up with all the phone calls. I just need someone to ship. And Johnny, I know you don't want to talk to anybody. I know you don't want to be a part of this. I just really need your help. And I know, because he knew this about me, and I know you like making extra money. And I know you don't like sitting around doing nothing. And I know in the wintertime you can't do your landscaping. He goes, so, man, just come and ship, drop off the products at the post office at 5 o'clock and go home. That's it, man. Like, make some extra money.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're speaking to me now. You're speaking to me so much that I can't even fight it, right? The stubborn, closed-minded, always said no guy, like, you're speaking my language now. Right? This is very important, guys. My personal growth had not even begun to start yet. I was still stuck in that mindset. So the only thing that was going to inspire me to do anything was money. So that was the angle, right? Money without any strings attached, right? That was the angle that finally worked for me. Hey, man, you can come work for a couple hours, drop off these products, go home, I'll pay you, you'll make some extra money. You don't have to talk to anybody. Okay. Here's what I said. I'll do it. But I don't want you telling anybody that I'm doing it. And I don't want to wear the shirts. And I don't want to do meetings. I don't want to talk to anybody. You're right. I said, but I'll come. And I'll work a couple hours a day, and I'll make the extra money. I had a young daughter at the time, another one on the way. So, I mean, I was always looking for opportunities to to make extra money anyway, right? So I started doing that. And it was kind of cool. I got a chance to spend extra time with my buddy. We had some laughs, in between calls. He would try to inspire me and all that stuff, crack jokes, play music, all that stuff. And it was kind of cool. So anyway, I'm doing that for several weeks. And so now he hits me up again. So remember this, man. He's got me in the basement, right? He figured out a way to get me in the environment. And enough time had elapsed where I realized, okay, this environment's not dangerous. I overheard the conversations. We weren't lying to people. I overheard the conversations. No one was calling, complaining, saying, hey, you guys are scammers. I wasted my money. The product didn't work. I didn't hear none of that, right? So, like, I had been in that environment now for several weeks, and I realized, and my guard was starting to come down. So now he comes back at me again. Same angle, Gary. Not changing the angle yet. Same angle. Hey, Johnny, listen. I know you don't want to talk to people, but I know you like making extra money. Why don't you come back after you go to the post office, and why don't you just take messages for me? And I'll tell you why. Because, I don't want people calling here and not talking to a human being and thinking that this isn't real. Because, man, like, I know a lot of people quit sometimes because they get scared because they think it's not real and they're not going to get paid and stuff. He goes, so if you can just help me with that, man. He goes, all you got to do, Johnny, is just ask them their name, write down their phone number, tell them Jack's going to call them back, and ask them what they're calling about. I thought about it. I'm like, all right, I can do that. So I start filling out these Post-it notes. I'm putting them on his computer, desktop computer at the time, all the way around his screen, man. Sometimes I would leave after an hour or two, like, man, there's Post-it notes everywhere. He's got to call back 30 people, and I'm walking out the door. Kind of felt bad because that's my friend. But hey, man, I came back and did another hour or two, made some more extra money, right? So I'm happy. That's what I want. I don't want any strings attached. That's the angle he worked. It worked for me, right? I'm doing my thing. Boom, 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 boom. Day after day, week after week. Then a phone call comes in. The phone call comes in that changes my life. It changes the trajectory of my life. It changes everything. If I don't do what I did on this phone call, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm probably still at the assembly plant figuring out how come I wasn't able to retire after 30 years. Yep. I know that.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's the phone call that came in. Phone call comes in. Jack's busy right now. Can I have your name? Can I have your number? He's going to call you back. What are you calling about? Well, to be honest with you, I'm just calling about shipping. I ordered a product yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys were able to ship it yesterday. And I'm really worried that I'm going to run out by the weekend, so I need to know if it's shipped. Gary, I'm telling you, the closed-minded side of me, the stubborn side of me, the man, I told you so side of me, that side of me, man, so did not want to help this lady. Because helping that lady was going to go against everything that I had been saying for 10 years. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be a part of it, all this stuff, right? Man, I'm a good Christian boy. Some of you know that about me. So I knew that I could answer that question. I put that lady on hold. I went through yesterday's pack slips. I found her name. I come back. I answer that call, and I say, listen, Miss Julie, your product has shipped USPS priority mail. We sent all of our products, USPS priority mail, and you will get it by this weekend. As a matter of fact, you'll probably have it tomorrow in most instances. Okay? This lady starts screaming, yelling, dancing. You could hear her running around in her house. Okay? And you could hear other people in the background, like making noise. Right? And she gets back on the phone and she's like, thank you so much. Oh, we're so happy. I'm almost out. My husband started drinking. He said he didn't like it, but now for the last 2 months, he's been drinking it. My neighbors love it. They just came and bought 2 bottles yesterday. I was getting nervous. I'm so excited now. You have no idea how much we love TLC. Jack Fallon's amazing. Tell Jack he doesn't have to call me back. I'll call back tomorrow. Like, she goes on and on and on, right? And I was like, whoa. I get off that phone call, man. Like, it was like your first kiss, right? You kind of really don't know what just happened, but you kind of know that you liked it.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was cool, right? Like that was cool, right? And I was like, whoa. So anyway, this, by the way, was like one of my last calls of that evening. So, man, the next day, I couldn't wait to get there, man. I couldn't wait to finish my 9-hour shift and go ship product. I couldn't wait to drop off the NutriBurst to the postmaster, have her give me dirty looks because it was 4:57 and they're union, and they're like, hey, man, what are you doing walking in here this late with all this product, man? Don't you know we stop at 5? Right? Now, they didn't never said that to me, but you can kind of feel the vibe, right? So I couldn't wait to go through all of that, come back and answer those calls. And I started praying that people had a question about shipping. And guess what? Most of the time they didn't. Most of the time they did it, man. But when that shipping question came in, I felt happy. I felt fulfilled. I couldn't wait for another one to come in. I loved how the people responded. I loved being part of helping people. I felt fulfilled. I went home after a 9-hour shift and a 4-hour shift, happy, energetic, and passionate, and ready for the next day.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
Like that before, man. I didn't feel like that before. Like, I was just happy, man. There was something about it that gave me life.
Yes.
And so now, as that started happening and as that transition started for me, another thing started happening. I didn't like not telling people I couldn't help. I didn't like telling people I couldn't help them. So when they called about products, ingredients, how does it work? What should I do? When should I take it? Back off. I didn't even know what back office was. Genealogy, I really didn't know what genealogy was. I thought genealogy was, hey, man, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, and your great-great-grandfather. I thought that's what they meant, right? I was like really seriously trying to figure it all out. I didn't know. So all of those questions, commissions, how come I didn't get paid? Like I said, I made 3 sales, but I only see 2 in my paycheck, and I didn't know any of that stuff, right? So I couldn't really help. Man, I just got pissed off one day. And so, that's how leaders are born, man. When a follower gets pissed off. And so if you haven't gotten pissed off yet, then you're just a follower still. Right? And that's okay. We need followers. And you know what? Followers need leaders.
Yes.
So that's cool. Right? But I'm telling you, if you're a damn good follower and you want to be a leader, just get mad.
Definitely.
That's how leaders are born, man. Right?
Definitely.
That's it. And by the way, if you want to be a really good leader, learn how to be a really good follower. You're ready. Okay? So after all that, and after that exposure, after not being able to help people, one day I just like, man, I don't like how that feels. So I'm just going to go home. I'm going to learn everything. So on nights, weekends, I just started studying, man. I started studying about the products. I started studying about the back office. I had my own little test account. I'm in there screwing around. I'm looking at commissions. I'm trying to figure, okay, hold on. I think I understand, man. Okay, so she made 2 sales. And what's this other team commission thing? I don't really know what that is. And then I started figuring that out. I click on some stuff. I see some names. Right. So I'm figuring out the compensation plan. I'm figuring out all this other stuff. I'm figuring out, oh, I get it now. Okay. So this person's placed on the left. Okay. Yeah, I see them. Right. So I'm figuring out all that stuff. All this complicated stuff that I thought was really complicated. It's really not that complicated. I just never really put my mind to it. Right. And so fast forward, man, let's go right to 21 years later. Like, we're here now. I do everything I never said I was going to do. Everything. There ain't a dang thing that I don't do. Like,
yeah.
And now here is the crazy part, guys. There's some dudes on here. I've seen some dudes commenting and stuff. Okay, you guys can understand me. The women, you might not. Okay, but you ask your guy friends, they'll tell you. I never really told Jack, hey, I'm digging this. I never really told Jack, hey, man, I've been answering some of these calls. I'm not just doing messages. I never really told him We never talked about it. I never said, hey, man, I'm really pissed off, man, that I can't help people. I'm going to go home and start. I never said any of that because I was embarrassed. Because I was telling him I never want to be part of this. I was telling him this was weird. I was telling him he was weird. I was telling him the whole thing was weird. It was a cult. It was a pyramid scam. It was a scheme, all that stuff. I was so embarrassed. Like, I never really stopped and said, hey, man, like, thank you. Like, I'm going to
Yes.
start helping people more often. Like, I really like how this feels. I just started doing it. We never talked about it. Weeks went by, months went by. Next thing I know, years go by. That was it, man. And so what happens? Everything I said I'm never going to do, I'm doing. Everything, man. And then I'll tell you what, man. And what really elevated me even more was Jack had a vision. He didn't know how to articulate it. People would show up, you know, master distributors as an example, right? And they'd be like, hey, this is what TLC is all about. This is what TLC is trying to accomplish. And I would sit there and listen. I'd be like, no, man, that's not what Jack wants. And so that would piss me off too. I got to start learning how to speak. I got to start like explaining what Jack wants to people, right? Like I got to stop being shy, man. It's like crazy. So like, you know, I started, you know, even behind, you know, I was hiding behind the phone all these years and I started getting out in front and center. Oh man, this is what we are. This is who we stand for. This is what we stand for, excuse me. And this is what we're trying to accomplish. And so I started talking on behalf of Jack, on behalf of the company. I said I'd never do that either, right? But man, when you're a part of something, when TLC goes from your head to your heart, like you hear so many of us say, man, you get superpowers. Like
yes.
you start being able to do things you never imagined you would even remotely be able to do. And that's my story, man. And so now I'm just, you guys could probably tell, man, like as these memories come up, I get super passionate about it. I'm still passionate about it, right? Because I'm telling you, if someone didn't figure out a way to get me in the room, to me, the room was the basement. Someone didn't figure out a way to get me in the room. Now, to you, it could be if someone didn't figure out how to get you on the Zoom, if someone didn't figure out how to sample you, if someone didn't figure out how to get you to say yes to something and just get you in this community.
Yes.
If someone didn't figure that out, man, your life would be so different right now. And probably not in a positive way. It would probably be in a negative way. Because I know that's true for me. Someone figured out a way to get me here. They worked an angle that made me feel comfortable and safe. Again, could be a sample, could be a Zoom, could be coming to an event and checking it out, right? Or jumping on a podcast like you're doing here and just talking and connecting with people and realizing like, hey man, this is some good people.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm gonna tell you what, man, I got a family here at TLC of some amazing people, right? Okay.
Yes.
Some of you love your family. Great. I do too, right? I don't know about you guys, but I got a pretty big family. And there's some people in the family, like Thanksgiving as an example, like I'm going to make sure I don't sit too close to them because there ain't a lot of good vibes there. I love them though. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I want them in my heart. I just try to limit how much they're in my life, right? But man, I got some TLC family. I'm going to tell you guys something, man. Great people, awesome people, big hearts, making a difference, make me want to be a better father, a better husband, a better Christian. Like that's what it's all about right there. Man, that's what circle of influence. That's what the average of the 5 people that you hang out with it really means. But man, what about the average of the 500 people you hang out with? Because that's what I get exposed to every single day, right?
Yeah.
So like, and Gary, you're one of those people, man. And I meant what I said. Like, man, like I just love your passion. I love looking back and remembering who you were and who you are now. Doesn't mean you were a bad person back then. Hey, man, I just transparently opened up to you guys and told you, man, I was stubborn. I was closed-minded. I thought I knew everything. I was a jerk. That was me, man. I don't judge that kid, though. I don't judge him because you know what? He don't even exist anymore. But how many people can go back 20 years and judge that kid because they haven't grown, not even one lick. They haven't grown up. They haven't grown. They haven't changed. They haven't evolved. They haven't improved. So guess what? Yeah, you can blame that kid. You can hold that kid accountable. You know why? Because that same kid's staring right back at you. So
Definitely.
to me, that's what the beautiful thing about what we're a part of, man. And so again, personal growth and personal development takes a minute. It takes a while, man. It takes weeks, it takes months, it takes years.
Yes.
What can we do? What can we do to keep you here while you're gently being exposed to all of that? we got to do our job, man. We got to do a great job of making sure you have good results with the products, good results with the business, so you can continuously be exposed to this, because you're going to look back 6 months and 6 years later and say, man, I don't even recognize myself. I'm so happy I'm in here. And
Definitely.
so, because that's my story. That's my story,
Definitely.
man. So back over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. And I've been telling y'all for 20 weeks straight why I love this family so much. And as you see, everyone who's come on here, just to cap it off with Mr. Licari right now, has told y'all the same thing, because that's what it is. It's about this family. It's about how we come together and lift each other up. But Mr. Licari, I need, we may go just a little bit longer.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
I want to, I want to ask you this question before,
Okay.
but I never was really a good time in my heart, really a good time. When you were going through the cancer thing,
Yeah.
how did you actually, honestly, I thought you would be gone from TLC. I didn't think you were
Yeah.
coming back.
Me too.
How were you able to pull yourself and to come back? But you were constantly, I know I'm at the second part. You were constantly still inspiring everybody else while you were still going through all of this.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, first of all, let me tell you this. It was very, very important to me to stay consistent, right? So, like what Gary's talking about as an example, guys, is every single day. I don't care what time it is, what I have to do to make it happen. I give an inspirational message. I put it on Instagram and Facebook, and I have a streak going on probably 5 years or so. It's very important to me because, man, once in a while I get a message where someone says, I needed that today. Thank you for that. That really helped me. And so ever since I started receiving those messages, I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to speak. I'm not supposed to be quiet. God's telling me, man, right? Like God's people are telling me, like, hey, man, like, thank you for that, right? So like that became a very important part of my life. Now, I remember the day of my cancer surgery. It was probably like 5 in the morning. I'm on the way to the hospital, and I told my wife, I'm like, hey, man, before we leave, I said, I gotta do my message. She's like, maybe you don't do it today. And I was like, no, I gotta do it, you know. And then the next day, man, I had like this major eye surgery. Man, they went in my eye. They sewed a radiation pellet onto my eye to try to reduce this tumor that was taking my vision away, and basically it ended up eventually taking my vision away. And like it was major, man. It was gonna be a huge recovery time and all that stuff. But the next day, man, I was doing my messages again. I had a big patch on my eye. I tried to put sunglasses on, right?
yep,
I tried to darken the room a little bit because I don't want people to think I was looking for sympathy, but it was really important to me to keep on serving. Even and I had made that commitment to myself. But I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back about a month earlier. So it was June 13th, 2022, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy how God works. So I'm gonna go back even 6 months before then. And yeah, I've never really went in detail about this like this. So I guess maybe thank you for asking, because maybe someone needs to hear this. December 2021, I make a commitment with God, and the commitment was, God, I just want to be better, man. I think I can be a better husband. I think I can be a better Christian. I think I can be a better father. And I just, like, if you'll help me, I made a deal with God. Some of you guys have done this. I made a deal with God. I said, you know what? I said, even if I'm traveling, I'm going to come see you every week, no matter where I'm at in the world. And so January 2020, now I've always been a church person. It's not like I'm always going 40 weeks a year. Right. So it's not like I was not going, but the commitment was, I'm going to go every single week, no matter what I'm doing, where I'm at, what's going on. I'm going to give you an hour every single week, no matter what, minimum. Right.
yes,
So that was my New Year's resolution for 2022. And so I do that. So I'm on the track, man. Like, here I go, man. I'm 6 months in. I'm feeling close to God. I'm praying all the time, man. Like I'm now, because I've been exposed to personal development. I'm hearing the sermons and the homilies, and I'm hearing them on a deeper level than the whole congregation. Trust me, right? I understand it. I feel it.
yes,
And then June 13th, actually June 12th, after several weeks of just not understanding why I couldn't see as well as I used to see, getting a new pair of glasses, new contacts, still not being able to see. I'm like, what the heck's going on, man? And so June 12th, a family friend is an ophthalmologist, an eye specialist, and I reached out and I said, hey man, I've been having these vision problems, and it's scaring me because when I'm reading the words on my phone, the farther right the words get, the more they look like they're falling off of a cliff. Right? So my vision started not only being distorted, but it was kind of like not straight. Like some of you
Yeah.
guys are seeing the comments right now. It says, Gary Thomas, you can support me, right? By the time it got to support me, it was kind of like curved. So I was like, what the heck is that? So I reached out to him and he's like, hey, do you have any Coca-Cola at home? I said, I started thinking, I don't drink Coca-Cola. And I'm like, you know what? I think I got some in the basement because we had a party recently. So I come down here and I grab a can of Coca-Cola, and he's like, close your right eye. Is a Coke red or is it gray? And I said, and I had not done this, by the way. I says, gray. He said, you need to come in tomorrow morning immediately. He goes, I open at 8, but I'm going to open up at 7 for you. He said, I need to
Wow.
see you right away. So I go see him. Man, I'm going to tell you that he probably did 5 extra tests on top of the 5 that he did, and I could tell that he didn't want to tell me. But eventually, a couple hours later, he's like, I just want you to know something before I tell you this. Like, I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've only seen this once. He said, but you have cancer. You have a tumor, like, behind your retina, and there's nothing I can really do for you. He said, but there's hope. He said, up until about 20 years ago, the only thing we could really do was just extract your eye and hope that the cancer hasn't traveled anywhere else. He said, there's these guys, there's 3 people, there's 3 places in the United States that do this. I go, and there's these guys here locally in Royal Oak, Michigan, which is about an hour from here. He said, they can save your eye. He said, you need to go see them right away. He goes, I'm calling them myself personally. So he called there, he got me an appointment. 2 days later, he goes, but during these 2 days, he said, I'm going to get you a full body MRI, a chest x-ray, blood work. I want to make sure that nothing else is going on anywhere else in your body, man.
Yes.
He goes, because if it is, we need to get on it like immediately, right? So I go home, man, shaking. I remember sitting in the parking lot. I'm like, do I really have cancer? And I just sat there and started crying. I called my wife, and she's like, no, let's get a second opinion, just come home, right? And so, like, man, that 30-minute ride seemed like 3 hours, man. So I get home. I'm all nervous. I can't sleep for 2 days, man. Until my follow-up appointment. 2 days later with the extreme specialist and surgeon. He tells me the same thing. He's like, you got 2 options, man. We can just either take the eye or we can try to save your eye with this radioactive therapy, He said, but you're going to lose your vision either way, right? Because I might be able to hold on to some vision, but in order to kill the tumor, we got to kill your retina too. And once your retina is dead, there's no artificial retinas out there.
Yeah.
It's just how it works, right? So I go, what do you recommend? He said, well, we've been doing, he goes, we've been doing it for more than 10 years now. He goes, and the percentage of reoccurrence, whether we take the eye or we don't, is about the same. He goes, there's no benefit of me taking your eye. He goes, so if you want to save it, he goes, I think you should do it. So I'm like, all right, I trust you, man. So we do it. Now, here's the problem. This was June 15th. Surgery was scheduled for July 11th. And here's what my surgeon told me. And this changed my life right here. He said, I don't know what kind of cancer you have. He goes, but I know you have it. He goes, I can't do a biopsy until we go in there, cut your eye open, and take a sample. He goes, so on July 11th, when we do this, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a sample. He goes, I'm going to send it to the best lab in the United States. He goes, and we'll get it back in about a month. He goes, so I want you to know for the next 6 weeks, I don't know what kind of cancer you have. He said, and you either have the worst kind, which only 15% of people survive in a 5-year period, or you have the least aggressive kind, where 15% of people or 85% of people survive over the course of 5 years, right? He goes, but we ain't gonna know until then. So, man, at that moment, here's what I decided, because I'm a pretty private person. I decided that, and I had learned this, and it really stuck with me, man. I learned that Earth is the devil's dominion. He's in charge here. The devil's in charge here.
Here.
There's only one weapon we got, prayer. That's it.
Yeah.
So the only weapon we got against the devil on earth is prayer. So I just asked for people to pray for me. So I told my story. I asked for people to pray for me. I wasn't afraid to tell people what I was going through. I put that aside. Yes, I still wanted to live a private life when it came to my struggles, but I knew that I needed help. And so I just told everybody what was going on. And people prayed for me. And people were calling me and saying, hey, man, today at church, man, 45 of us prayed for you. And we're going to keep on praying for you every single day. And, hey, today we did a prayer call. And people from different countries, man. Like, I'm getting goosebumps telling you this, right? And I was just, like, overcome, like, with this emotion, right? And I was going to bed every night like, man, look, God, I just want, like, one more Christmas,
Yeah.
man, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I want to see my daughter graduate college, man, because she's almost done, man. And I'm, like, really proud of her, you know? And I didn't know, you know? So fast forward, biopsy finally comes back. My doctor says, hey, come on in. I want to discuss a biopsy with you, you know? I said, man, I don't know if I like that, what he just said, you know? So, but I'm telling you, man, during the 6-week period, so many people prayed for me, and I got so close to God, closer than I've ever been in my whole life, man. Like, and I've been close to God, man.
Yeah.
And so, so I go to this appointment, and my doctor's like, I want you to sit down. He's like, I want you to know something. When I first saw this tumor, man, I just didn't expect it to come back as stage 1 cancer. I really expected it to come back as stage 3 or 4. I thought it had been there for a really long time. At least to my knowledge, that's what it looked like. He goes, I've been doing this for a long time. He goes, but your biopsy came back and you had a stage 1 tumor, and I don't think you're gonna have to ever have any problems. He goes, we'll continue to monitor this every 6 months. He goes, and I've been going every 6 months, scans, everything that I need to do. They put my eye under all these different things, and it keeps on regressing, and it keeps on, tumor keeps on drying up and getting smaller. And now I've lost, most of my vision. But I'm gonna tell you something. It's the biggest blessing in my life, because there's not a day that goes by that I'm not reminded that I can't see. But I have more vision now, and I'm closer to God than I've ever been. And I'll tell you something right now. There's a lot of faithful people in the world. In my particular case, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ. If that's not what you got going on, I'm cool with that, right? But I just want people to know, like, I have no problem saying that.
Yeah.
And I know for sure, if you prayed for me, you changed God's will, right? And God's will was for people to pray for me. I know this, to pray for me, and for me to get a wake-up call and to go through some tribulations to become the man that I'm destined and supposed to be. I absolutely know that. And I remember walking into Christmas service that year. I was just crying, and my kids were like, Dad, why are you crying? I was like, no, I'm not crying, And my wife's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And I didn't realize, man, like, I cried myself to sleep so many nights just asking to see one more Christmas, like
And you got to see
for
it.
real, and I'll never forget how that felt, man. And so I can't see out of my left eye. I can see a little bit, but I can't see like you guys see. I can't read, and I do have some peripheral vision, which is I'm so grateful to my surgeon for that, because it does help me drive and stuff like that. But what a blessing it is. What a blessing it is to have that reminder. Like, I never forget about God. When things are going well in your life, we forget about God, man. Right?
Yes.
When you're broke, when you're broken, when you get broken up with, when you get in a car accident, when you're about to have surgery, man, you're talking to God every day, right? How about when things are going well, man? How about when your relationships are going well, right? You're just going through the routine, man. You're waking up, you're going to bed, you're going to parties, you're having some fun, you're doing your hobby, right? Like, how often are you talking to God, man? Me, I'm having fun now, but I'm talking to God every single day, multiple times a day, man, because, like, I don't, I got this reminder in my vision every day. I can't see. Oh, man, I got more vision now, though, than I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, for me, it's been life-changing, man.
Yeah.
And I have no problem losing friends. I have no problem losing business. I have no problem losing family. I ain't losing my God. And I think God knew that I was maybe not on a terrible path, but I was on a path that wasn't where he wanted me to be, right? Like he
Yes.
wanted me to be closer, man. And I really understood that going through all of this. And now people just recently asked me, man, hey man, like you're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. A lot of people don't know what you're dealing with, but you seem really calm. Are you okay? Man,
Yes.
I got a God, man. Like it is written somewhere, man. It's written somewhere. I'm probably misquoting this, right? But I'll tell you something. It's written somewhere in the good book, right? Not even a sparrow will fall to the earth if it's not for God's will, right? So like now we know. So we just have to be okay with that. But we also have to remember that there is precedence where a human can change God's will. Okay? You guys know about the wedding at Khan, right? You know that story, right? That's where Jesus changed water to wine.
Mhm.
How'd that happen? A human came in, his mother, and she said, hey, can you help them?
Yes.
He's like, it's not my time. I'm not supposed to do this. She's like, but if you can't do it now, when can you do it? Right? So God's will was changed at that moment by a human being. You understand me? Right? A human being changed God's mind. That's me and you.
Yes.
Right? That's us. Right? So get on your knees, pray. Diagnosis is bad. The business looks bad. You don't think the relationship's going to last. It looks like you're going to get divorced. Your kid's never going to talk to you again. Man, we go through stuff. Pray,
Yes.
man. Pray. Like, maybe the tribulation is only supposed to be temporary to get your attention, to bring you closer to God, and to get you back where you're supposed to be. Because here's what I know, man. When we go away from God, how do you know that God isn't trying to throw something at you so we can get you back? Because man, when we forget about God, man, and our humility goes away, sometimes when we're humbled, we go right back to where we belong. And maybe it's just God saying, hey man, I ain't gonna lose you because I love you too much for that. So I'm gonna bring you right back over
Yes.
here. And I know it's
Yes.
gonna be painful, but man, just trust me. Right. So that's I didn't mean to get all spiritual with you guys, but you push me in that direction.
Oh yeah.
And that's
I'm glad you did. And my favorite part of that story is you say you lost your sight,
yeah.
but he gave you more vision.
I've never seen more clearly in my life, man.
That part right
Yeah.
there is so profound. If
Yeah.
people don't let that part go over their head,
There
please don't
there
let that
ain't
part go over
even
your head.
there ain't even a number. There ain't like there's like 20, 20, 20, 40, 20. There ain't even a number to explain the vision that I have. Because it ain't much.
Yes.
Right? I mean, even the vision that I do have, it's a small little portion of my eyesight, right? So I'm 20 whatever. But man, my vision is 2020. You know,
Yes.
and I'm excited about that. And it's so hard to explain, man. It's a gift. It's a gift, man. And don't take it for granted, man. I remember, like, seriously, I think about this once in a while. I remember taking a shower before this all happened to me a few times in my life, and like, your eyes are closed and you're putting shampoo in your hair, and you're like, man, it would suck to be blind,
Mm.
you know. Um, Now
And
I'm blind in one eye, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, right? Because we take it for granted. Our breath, our eyesight, our limbs, man. This is all. We're like every day is a miracle, man. Like,
yes.
don't treat every day a Monday, a rainy day, or the day after a holiday, man. Sometimes we wake up and we're like, man, like, no, like these are gifts, man. These are blessings, man. Treat it that way because that's what it is. We take it for granted, man. Listen, some people didn't wake up today. Some people aren't going to wake up tomorrow, right? And so, like, they'll trade with you, man. You're going through some relationship issues. They'll trade with you. I promise you, right? You're behind on your bills, man. You don't know what you're going to do. You got anxiety, stress. They'll trade with you, So just remember that, man. And I can't say this enough. Whatever it is that is bothering you right now about you or about the world or about politics or whatever, just pray, man. Just pray. Because
Yes,
prayer
sir.
is our weapon, man. And again, I'm just gonna say this one more time. And I hate to say this because I don't like it, but I have come to know that it's true. The earth is the devil's dominion. And he's in charge here. Right? But if we pray, man, that's our weapon.
Yeah.
Right? That's our weapon. Right? That's how we beat that. That's how we fight that. Right? So and man, I'm telling you, I have never felt a spiritual presence from the Holy Spirit deeper and stronger than I did on July 7th, 2022 at the Gravity Tour event in Las Vegas when I told my story, and at the end, we all prayed together. I never felt that before in my life, man. And it was the most beautiful thing, Gary, was I was very emotional, obviously. I looked up 2 or 3 times during that prayer. Women, men, Latinos, African Americans. Some people didn't even speak English. They came from different countries, man. Like, it was the most beautiful thing. Everyone was holding hands. It was the most beautiful thing I ever seen, right? Like that was like, hey, man, this is kind of like what the world's supposed to be like. Like, we're supposed to all
Yes.
like be together and help each other, and like those are, man, like if this wouldn't have happened to me, that stuff would have never happened to me, you know?
Yes.
And so all that stuff changed my life. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
No, thank you
Yeah.
for giving us your time and
My pleasure,
coming
man.
just to share your man because you that's just a couple of parts of your story.
Yeah.
Your story is just so profound that I'm like, I got to get him on here one day. I got to.
Thanks,
And
Gary. I appreciate that, man. And I love what you're doing, man. I'm really proud of you. I don't think people understand, you know, it's easy to show up when things are going well in your life. It's easy to show up when you're getting good results and with whatever it is that you're doing. But when you make a decision, I'm just going to show up. I'm just going to keep on showing up. Don't matter what
yes,
the results are. Don't matter who else shows up. Don't matter if I'm in a good mood, a bad mood, sick, well, whatever. I'm just going to show up, man. The level of respect I have for that, I don't even know if you understand, man. Like, I really respect the heck out of that. So, and I know that's what you do, man. So just keep on showing up, man. Like, my good friend, as my good friend Rose Alvarado taught me, Galatians 6:9, man. If you know it's the right thing to do, man, you just keep on doing it.
yes,
You know, you just keep on doing it.
yes.
All right, my friend.
All right, Mr. Licari, I've been going on to let you off.
All
I
right.
usually would tell my guests to give people, one thing to get them through the week, but you've given us so much tonight that I'm just gonna let you go.
Well, I'll give you one more thing because
Okay.
it's my message of the day today, and this one really, a couple people reached out to me today and said, "Man, I read this like 6 times and it really hit me." If you're winning right now by not being yourself, then you're not really winning.
Not
You're not
winning.
really winning, man. The person you're pretending to be is winning,
Feel that.
right? So understand that and really realize that. Like, okay, because I've done that in my life, right? I've pretended to be someone I'm not, and I've won. I mean, I've gotten the dates, or I've gotten the business deal, or I've gotten the sale, right? And then you're like, well, how come I'm not happy? You're not going to be happy because you didn't get the sale. The pretend person did. They're
Yes.
happy. Pretend person is really happy, right? But the you person, the one looking you in the mirror, they ain't happy because guess what? They're having success by not being themselves. So just be you, man. Show up as you, your flaws and everything, and try and win, man. And you'll be surprised. You are more than enough for most people. You're your crackly voice, you're short. I don't care what the heck you got going on, man. You are enough. And when you win being yourself, that's when you'll find happiness and success. Because a lot of people are finding financial success, but not happiness. Relationship success, but not happiness. Why? Because they're not being themselves. So that's my tip for the week, man. Like, just you are enough and just be yourself. And I promise you, man, like, if the people you're around right now don't like who you are, then find some new people. Because you're going to find the freedom, man, that you're looking for that way, not the other way. So that's what I
Yes.
got for you for the week. All right.
Thank you once
All
again,
right, Gary.
Mr.
It's been a pleasure,
Coach.
man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. And you enjoy the rest of your night.
You
And
too.
we're gonna make sure everybody see this episode. I'm just gonna tell
All
you.
right. Thank you. And God bless you guys for hanging around and commenting and all that stuff. I know everybody's time is valuable, man. So if this brought you some value and maybe some inspiration, that means a lot to me.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Well, you
Thanks,
enjoy the
guys.
rest of your night.
You too. Thank you.
Man, am I the only one right now with goosebumps? Am I the only one like shaking because the passion and the energy that he exuberates just through the screen because you know everything is real. But he don't do it for him. He do it to help everybody else. And that's why I love that guy so much. If you have anybody that missed this episode, send this episode to them. Tag them in it. Make sure they see it because you never know. They could be the one that you've been talking to. Like at the beginning with him and with Mr. Licari and Mr. Jack Fallon. He ain't want to have nothing to do with it. He helped him out a little bit. Now he can't see himself nowhere else because he can't see himself not helping, not serving, not bringing joy and happiness to other people. And that's what it's all about. A lot of us, we get our happiness, we get our joy by seeing somebody else come up, by helping somebody else. That's what being a life changer is all about. That's why I'm still here myself 4 years later. Okay, my bad. Give me a sec. Woo! I'm just, if y'all couldn't feel this, what was said today, you know what? I'm not even going to say if you could, because I know you did. So everybody, before we go, drop some fire in the chat for our COO of our amazing family, not company, family. Total life changes. Drop some fire in for Mr. John Licari. Because, like I always say, just like Mr. John, I ain't got nothing but love for you, fam. And always remember that God loves you. Peace out, fam.